Hey everybody, Rhadamant here for episode 25 of Kenshi. Thanks for tuning in. So before I get going, I just want to mention a few tips I received. Kamizushi mentioned that if I pick up Pingu and run around with him, it's probable that he will be faster, or all of us will be faster, if he is being carried, and that's a fair point. And then I also wanted to give a shout out to Ron and Yezerul that are very thorough in the tips that they provide me. If you look for their comments, they're always very helpful and thoughtful and well written, and I very much appreciate it. This series would not be what it is without their feedback. So I just wanted to mention them by name, and then also say that I'll probably start pinning their messages as well. All right, so let's get this fight started. There's only some Fogmen here. Now, while they're doing that, I was thinking of possibly Chung. Well, I don't know why you're up there. Oh, you're trying to build. I guess that makes sense. I'll leave you on passive. I want Chung to start with the battery bank here. Let's put him on engineer. Well, they are finishing up this little group of Fogmen. Now, one of the advantages of the Fogmen is they're not that tough, but they are numerous. But they're a very, very good way for my guys, especially the ones that are newer, to level up in some combat. Because without Fogmen to level up on, I'd be stuck, having to train them manually, and that's just not necessarily all that much fun. It can be very boring, I guess. So the real advantage of having settled here is that I have basically free sparring partners that I can, murder at will. Which, yeah, I would have to say does pose a specific advantage. So one thing I'm going to do with Pingu here is take a moment and just super dump everything out. Because they'll grab it from the ground if they need it. Now, I did set up some basic farms. They're not where my future farms are permanently going to be. I just wanted to start cultivating a few crops to make sure that I had the farms running and going. I wasn't going to line them all up here necessarily. I do have a lot of space. I'm not sure what my footprint will be permanently with the walls and all that, but all of these guys here, I'm going to have them have engineering tasks. They're all set to passive, which is correct. And ideally, I would like to get this some battery banks done, because I don't know if it works yet. I actually haven't tested it, but I think the corpse furnace should provide some power. I'm going to set all of them up to go possibly heal. And then I can look to pick more fights. I also need some more hemp. Who's targeting you, Green? Oh, just some random guy that's running back in. Oh, they're running by. Now we are in need of some food. So I think with this main crew here, I can go food hunting. But one thing I probably need to do is set up next character keybinds. Let's take a look at that. Jobs. Select all characters. Next character. Previous character. All right. That way I can cycle through them much more quickly to see who needs healing. Of course, it won't be the skeletons. As for the skeletons, I did want to have an independent barracks that had sort of a permanent resting spot. I like sort of station houses, if possible. Not exactly sure where this will go. And this building would be for meals and beds and stuff like that. So it looks like a lot of the patrols come up this way. So actually, maybe I'll make the station house over here, if I can find a good place for it, because the walls and defenses will be better put. Wow, Beep didn't get destroyed there. All right, let's turn jobs on. Actually, let's go and make sure that all the jobs we have make sense. Some of them I don't necessarily want doing really anything. These guys are no longer going to be the workforce of this community. They are the hunters of the community. So Burn is our robotics guy. Oh, and he has some materials on him. All right, so the jobs are on. And that means we can get this station house built. And we are instead getting into a little bit of combat. Sounds like the battery was all done. So one thing I could do is go to my citizens and let's do Bard. Have Bard feed the corpse disposal. And see if this thing produces power. That'd be pretty cool. At the moment, it seems like he's pacing because he's set to be an engineer. So let's lower his engineering skill. So this is just 40 building materials that we can manage. At the moment, it does not look like it's producing power. Maybe because he's just not loading anything in. All right, you are no longer an engineer, buddy. He's trying to ditch it. Oh, I see. He's trying to ditch his resources. Because he had an engineering priority. And okay, I get it now. Okay, well, they'll get that built. Come on. Dispose of corpses, my friend. You're very, very bad at your job. It's probably because this one's unconscious. There we go. Now we're getting some corpse disposal. Is it charging? I don't believe it is. It's still a task that we're going to want to do. I did read about how the corpse furnace isn't really working. And that's fine. So next what we're going to do is get wind generators. Wind generators are usually best placed on high altitude areas. So I'm going to see what kind of wind power we get from placing one here. And they, oddly enough, require raw copper and iron plates. As for Heft, for now I'm going to have Heft go and operate the manual stone processor. And now while everyone's healing back up, I do want to send them back into Vane to get some maybe beak things or gorillos. Probably beak things because they're more meat. Get them some food items. That would be good. So I like these station houses for barracks because they are nice and they're nicely shaped. The snail houses have a lot more probably square footage. Maybe not a lot more, but a lot of usable space there. But these station houses, you can line beds up more easily because there's a lot of flat surfaces. It's like trying to decorate a circular room is a real pain in real life, right? And we're going to start to get some water going. Now, we could definitely upgrade some of these objects, like the stone processor or the well, but we'll probably need some power and power storage first. Without that, we're not likely to be getting a lot of stuff done. While we are waiting for that, I think Shrike and Molly are going to... let me fix that. Get some copper. That's a one-person node. Okay, 2 one-people nodes. That's fine. Let's keep you even closer to town. There's plenty of copper nodes around here, as you can see. There's 4 of them right in the immediate vicinity, and there's plenty more. In fact, some of this stuff, well, I guess if I select Chung here, I can find them more easily. Yeah, so it's those 4 nodes that I've spotted here. So we'll have to wall those in. Bard is getting toggled. Now, as you can see, the huge difference between those that can defend themselves and those that can't. Chung is being messed with as well. Bard actually does have a katana, a pretty decent one. I do want to level up the home team with combat ability, because they're going to need to look after themselves. I'm not always going to be necessarily right in the vicinity in order to do it for them. So that is an important thing to think about. Now, these jobs that I'm assigning right now are not going to be the permanent jobs. Not even by a long shot. I just wanted to point that out as well. I'm just assigning them to get the base up and running. I think what I'll do is Miyu here. I'm going to temporarily set up to do some farming. I believe that she's a pretty capable farmer. She's waiting for this water to be usable. Oh, she also has a pretty full inventory, so she's not even able to carry the water. Let's have her drop her backpack. Oh boy. We have, yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. We had a lot of people carry a lot of stuff. I'm going to probably deeply regret not putting it all where it belongs right now, but for right now, I don't care to take too much time to figure out all of the sort of organizational stuff. So instead, what I'm going to do is just dump it all out on the ground and have the home team workers sort it all out. And let's go through them one by one to make sure that we have dropped everything that we should. So research and engineering and all that stuff we can drop in. Steel bar as well. It's a pretty full inventory. Hamet we just did. Kang. I don't mean to sound like I am ungrateful for all this stuff, but obviously this stuff does add up and take a lot of inventory. Yeah, everyone is very full. I forgot about that. Actually, I didn't want it in general storage. That's not where we're going to be keeping it. And looks like they're finding more building materials or something. I suppose I can put the toothpicks in here, though. And soon we'll be able to go hunting. Put the bounties in there as well. We don't need to be carrying that around with us. Oh, Hobbs is unloaded. Grumble. Beep. Alright. And part of this was just... Oh, Beep needs these. Okay. Wherever Beep's standing, he's going to be dumping stuff out. Load him up full of... Oh, he's not even standing. Load him up full of ammo. The reason I'm not all that worried is once we have proper storage for all of our characters, or all of our buildings, we can just order them to haul to storage, and that will do it sort of for us automatically. Alright, Voth here, you are going to dump a sleeping bag. Someone else probably needs it. I did just manually grab all of the copper we need for the first wind generator. Now, if you're wondering why my Fog Islands is not so ugly, it is because I'm running a mod called Remove Weather Effects. Normally the fog has fog whipping through, and it's actually, it can be pretty ugly. So this mod will reduce that, which is great. Now the penalties to weather, like dust storms, gas, and all that stuff, hasn't been reduced. That doesn't change the mod in the mod, but alright, so the wind speed here is light, but it will be enough to make a little bit of power. 25 power output. And that will start to store into the batteries. Mew here is... probably don't have enough for the hemp farm, I suppose. But she is setting up the farming. Let's go through everyone, make sure no one has some critically bad injuries. We all look very, very healthy and good. One thing I want to figure out is who can carry Pengu. Ruka could carry Pengu. Oh, Mew's getting attacked. Actually, Ruka's not particularly fast. Maybe Rhadamant will do it. But alas, it looks like there's more micro-hiver raids. And this will happen a lot. For now, I don't want Pengu to be taking any unnecessary damage. Alright, everyone should be fine. Rhadamant, go pick up Pengu. Mew's feeling a little tender. Alright, so Rhadamant, with Pengu being carried, is still pretty fast. If I switch boots... because I'm not worried about my feet getting cut off. It's pretty good. What I'll do here is just allow them all to have a brief amount of sleeping. Wow, we have really littered the base here. Maybe Molly, what I'm going to do is set you up to... Oh. And yet another raid. It's going to have Molly set up to haul things to where they sort of belong, or at least for the iron plates and the building materials. I might not be able to do a whole lot of leaving the base until we have walls up. This is all very good training, mind you. Rhadamant doesn't mind having to carry Pingu all that much. Let's have him drop him. That just looks kind of funny. Let's put him down. Put him down and let him fight. Oh, we are at max capacity of iron plates. So, what I'm going to do now is to start... Did I get the electrical bench up? No, I got the research bench, but not the electrical one. Let's go ahead and start crafting that kind of stuff. So, electrical bench, we will tuck in here. And put electrical item storage. Next to it. For us to put our stuff away, we need to use some of it. On the first floor, we're going to want to get the heavy armor smithy. And this will be a bunch of plates. And I'll let them start setting that up, and we're gonna want to get the weaponsmithy and all that good stuff. Getting all this built up. Oh, Chung got kind of sliced open there, didn't he? I'm just having certain characters run around and store stuff. Wow, they are really relentless here. Oh, these are just people that are in the ground. Now, as you can see, barely, that I'm starting to get a teeny bit of growth here. Cactus, cotton, 2 cottons, vegetable wheat. I believe I was trying to put hemp somewhere. Well, whatever. We can always grow hemp later. So we have a lot of fabrics as well. It's going to be another bench or another storage that we have going on. I'll let them build what they want to build now. Let's speed time up a little bit. And then Molly was storing everything, so we'll also store the electricals. And I'm sure these will max out. Yep, it's already maxed. At least it's starting to keep things off the ground. Go ahead and make some additional battery banks. Wouldn't hurt to have a lot of spare power. Power on demand. The electrical workshop's all set. Bard is once again getting targeted. This is probably going to be a very common occurrence. Chung is going to drop the books where they belong. All looking very good. All right. Now, I don't think anyone's standing in the way of... Not currently. Let's go to storage and set up armor storage. Now, what I think I'm going to do is to put armor and weapon storage not super close to Well, there are thieves, but I'm not going to worry about thieves. If there are thieves coming into my base, I'm probably already dead. Put this at the entrance so that I can change my equipment really quickly. And then for the rest of the storage, I want armor plates here. Right next to my crafting spot. I'll tuck them in here. So anything relevant to armor smithing, I'll put sort of back here. So armor, leather, and let's see. Fabric would be good too if I wasn't blind and could find it. Some of it starts with storage and then some doesn't, so it's not always very obvious where that stuff is. Oh, line it up against the walls. We're also going to want to get some looms, so we can put them in here next to the fabric. So I'll put them like this. If there's any pathing issues, because sometimes there will be, I'll fix that. So that's fabric for cotton and hemp looms, and then we'll also need to store the cotton and fabric. So that is slightly larger. These big boxes, I think, are probably going to go outside as a result. So we can put them here. Here's cotton and hemp. We also have a lot of animal skins. So another thing that we're going to need for this is the tanning bench. I'm going to tuck this in here. And that also means that we'll need to store the skins. And put that next to... put that in that little cubby hole. And then we do have leathers, right? Yep. So skins and leathers. We will also need the leather armor crafting bench. Now above the crafting areas here, we'll probably additionally want some lighting. So go to lights, put maybe a ceiling lamp, just because they're a little bit nicer. And although there's probably a better way to min-max it, I'm going to put it over every bench. So we want good lighting. It affects crafting speed and quality. Now I don't want to... Oh, these are both... No, this one's hemp. Okay, good. Looking more base-like already. Bunch of the battery banks up here are done. Lovely. And then we will also want to make weapons. So plate beating station is another thing we're going to need. Yep, plop it right here. And then a weaponsmith. This will be our sort of weapon and armor crafting area. Now obviously, characters like Miyu here are going to ditch their jobs. I just need to hire people to replace them. And everyone's getting remarkably hungry. So what I think I'm going to do is to bring maybe everyone but the skeletons and Miyu and Crumble. Beep green. So let's bring, where's silver? No silver, okay. Have this subset of people head out to hunt. So we need food. So this group will, who's the slowest? Maybe let's just assume it's Auron for now. And have Auron head towards Vane, looking for some food. So we will eventually start growing it. But for now, we'll need a hunt for it. And hunting is faster and easier. But alas, I'm out of time. So I'm just going to roll credits. Now, one thing I wanted to say for all of you, and here's a little gift, is it's Monday, and Mondays suck. So I'm going to have a doubleheader episode today. You shouldn't come to expect it, but I figured today, being a Monday, I will give that to you. Now, if you wanted to give me feedback or read the feedback that I've been getting, of course, YouTube comments works too, but the Discord channel for Kenshi is also a really good place to work out questions and discussions about strategies and tactics and all that stuff. So if you're interested in hopping on, Rhadamant.com has the Discord list, or link rather, and I wanted to thank all of you for contributing and helping and all your feedback and comments. It's all wonderful. Thank you very much, and I'll have to catch you all later. Next episode, which should be airing any minute now. Adios.